Everybody wants to get rich quick and get to that retirement picture that they always had in their head and get to that wealthy point in their life. But hardly anybody wants to do the work unless you are born into that lifestyle or you inherit a bunch of money. You have to work hard to build that wealth. You're going to have to work hard and get on a plan to get you to that wealthy point. My name's Jack, and in this video, I'm going to be covering the very first step, big step to help you get on that wealth journey. So there's a lot of confusion and a debate really about being rich versus being wealthy. A lot of people, they want to get rich, but understanding just being rich isn't enough. Being rich can be the same as being poor, at least the mindset, maybe not financially in the outlook of life, but the mindset can still be the same. We want to approach money and achieve wealth. We want to be able to get to this point. So I want to show you the differences between being rich and being wealthy. Being rich, this is kind of the mainstream push of go out, work hard, work 60, 70, 80 hours a week, make a ton of money, spend a ton of money. This is kind of the mainstream approach to this. So you're going to have an extravagant lifestyle. You're usually very popular, or everybody knows you at least, or at least the spending style that you are in is well known. Usually spends money to impress, has more liabilities than assets. And I'll discuss more about that later and how that's important to your wealth. Can be living paycheck to paycheck. I've heard of people with incomes $250,000 plus still barely making it month out of month out of month because they have spent so much money and their liabilities heavily outweigh their assets. So all their paycheck is going to support basically this extravagant lifestyle. And they're not in control of their financial health. Versus building wealth and being wealthy, and this is not mainstream. There's a great book. There's so many great books on this too about building wealth versus being rich. Usually boring, not well known. Millionaire mindset is kind of if you Google that and start researching this, you'll find that a lot of millionaires, there's a big study of thousands of millionaires, they're not well known. They're just living their life, putting money in things that aren't as popular, not having these crazy parties or buying these fancy cars or living in these huge homes. They save and invest money. They have more assets than liabilities. They created multiple streams of income, so they're not totally reliant on their job, on their primary source of income, if that's the case for them. They have achieved financial freedom. So we are going to be focusing on this instead of this. So we don't want the mainstream get rich quick, Instagram lifestyle, because that's usually not how it really is portrayed. If you look at economics and you look at all the different financial studies that have been done, being rich and that spending all that money it's not going to bring happiness, whereas wealth and building wealth will. So the first thing we need to do to get on our wealth journey is we need to track our spending. And this is also, we'll talk about budgeting in a later video, but this is a very important step, not only to help you with your wealth journey, but also in budgeting and getting control of your finances. Which all leads together. I mean, it's all ties in together. So when you're tracking your spending, the first thing you need to do, or the first thing you can do, doesn't necessarily need to be something you need to do, but keep a record and write down everything you spend money on for a whole month. So start doing it. If you don't do anything else and you don't know how to do anything else, you're not good with technology, and you've always been the person who write things down, start writing things down. Keep the receipts. Start writing everything that you spend money on down. Download or print all the bank statements from last month. So if you don't want to do this, you're like, I can't keep track of all that. And you've used your debit or credit card, download all your bank statements from last month. Everything, all the statements that you have money coming in or out of, but especially out of, print all that off. Start looking it over. Track spending in a spreadsheet. Maybe you have a spreadsheet and you're a spreadsheet just geek, nerd, and you love it. I can say that because I am. And you can put all your money into different spreadsheets. Use the spending tracker app. This is also nice. There's many. I put a few examples here. It'll automatically do it for you. You just got to connect your bank account, but beware, some of these cost a fee, cost some money to use their business. And it'll automatically do it. And then once you do all this, whichever one you choose, or maybe do all of them, who knows? I've heard of people doing 2 or 3 of them. There's more methods out there to track your spending. I've even heard of the glass jar method, or the envelope method is what it's known as. You put money in the envelope, or you put money in the jar, and that's your cash for your spending. Also a budgeting tip. But once you do all this, start categorizing all of your spending. Put things in utilities, essentials over here, entertainment, clothing, food, groceries, gas, et cetera, going on down the list there. You want to start categorizing that because you want to see where are you spending money. Because once you do that, once you start tracking your spending, you can start finding areas of spending that you can eliminate today. You'll be surprised. You'll be shocked. Like, oh my gosh, I spent $300 on gas, or I spent $200 on clothes last month, and I really didn't need any clothes. Or maybe we went out to eat too much. Or maybe I can really start cutting down my groceries. Or maybe we can turn the air conditioning up 1 more degree and save on utilities because I get kind of cold. So start looking at things that you can start eliminating, and we'll talk more about this too in a later video when it comes to budgeting. And lastly, why we are tracking our spending is because we want to make sure that we are focusing on our wealth building mindset. So we want to be able to generate a personal balance sheet. And if you've ever done a business balance sheet, this is very similar. The ins and outs, basically. And this is how it looks. On the left column, we have our assets. So this is money. Assets are things of value that brings value to us, and we don't have to pay money to. So assets, any cash you have on hand, money that you have, any bank accounts that you have money deposited in. If you have a cash value life insurance, include that. Current value, all investments, property that you own, cars, real estate, recreation vehicles, etc. And add that into the total column and get your total assets. And then come over here to the liabilities column, and this is all the money that you owe. These are things that you owe money on, and it's money that is going to leave you at some point in your life. So mortgage, rent, car loans, student loans, any kind of loans, outstanding credit cards or balances or other personal loans, any unpaid bills, unpaid taxes, unpaid medical bills, etc. Anything that you owe money on. I'm probably forgetting a few things in these lists, but anything that you owe money on, put into this column and add it up, and you have your total liability. So how we figure out net worth, and this is so fun because this is the net worth definition. Total assets minus total liabilities equals net worth. Now all this is the current value of your total assets or total liability. So all this can change, and we're going to talk about time value of money because of different interest rates and everything that's going on. But when you're doing this is the current value of your total assets, current value of your total liabilities, and that equals your net worth. So now you have a good starting point to start building towards wealth, to start generating more wealth. You're tracking your spending. We over this video we talked about how you can track your spending, and we started focusing on where can we increase our assets and where can we lower our liabilities to find our net worth.